everything. I have no power for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Texas blows.
I didn't know that.
So, dude, the second you run
back, Shane. Come on.
Just say I went to Austin, and gotta tell you that Austin, that city is a boiling pot of evil goo, just circling a dish.
I hated everyone I met, and all of the things that people were doing, I hated, and I didn't understand what was going. You know, everyone there was like, "This is the next city,"
Right.
And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. The lake is the color of sewage. These are the worst people. Austin is like if the Proud Boys and Antifa got married and had a city. Nothing works. And the food is atrocious. It's some of the worst food in America. You have to be like a drunk college pig to enjoy it. I've shit-talked Austin for 3 years. Not one human being has said, "Hey, fuck you, man." Not one person has said that. Everyone kind of goes, "Yeah, I get it."
All right, guys. So we'll be watching Joe Rogan's friends hate Austin, Texas. Now, you know, Too Lazy to Try. I feel like this is an easy video for you to make, right? Like, who doesn't hate Austin, Texas? No, but like a guy who's living in California where, you know, Joe Rogan used to live at, and for the most part, I think we all know why Joe Rogan moved to Texas. Texas is, you know, because of his Spotify deal and how much money he was going to be making, you know, instead of if he was living in California. And also maybe the pandemic was happening around the time he couldn't perform shows, and also he had to be vaccinated and blah, 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 right? But we're going to be watching this video. Let's see. Let's just see this, because I know how this is going to go, because Austin, Texas is just... It sounds terrible. Like the way, you know, Joe Rogan's trying to spin this and tries to make it sound like a freaking utopia. Blah, blah, blah. Nah.
5 years since Joe Rogan moved to Austin, Texas, and if you listen to what he has to say about it, he makes it seem like Austin is the greatest place ever, but quite a few of his friends that have moved there have a completely different opinion. And the most recent has been Brendan Schaub, who just moved there, and he's really regretting it, which I covered over on Patreon if you're interested. But that's what made me think of this video idea.
So, yeah, Brendan apparently moved to Texas, and he's now not liking it. California suits him better. Texas is really hot out there, not good for big guys.
Yeah, because he's not the only one who heard Rogan constantly talk about how amazing it is and how they need to move there, and then they went there and realized Austin kind of sucks. Like Shane Gillis, he moved there almost 2 years ago, and he's not even there as much as the average person who lives there. You know, he's always on the road, and he goes back to New York quite a bit. But even for the amount of time he spends in Austin, it sounds like he just can't take it anymore. And obviously the only reason he moved there to begin with is because Rogan convinced him to. Like the first time Shane was on Joe's podcast, Joe kept talking about how amazing Austin is. And Shane's like, yeah, it's cool, but the homeless people here really freak me out. And it's
you know what's hilarious too is I had a video of Joe trying to convince Bobby Lee to move to Texas, and Bobby was like, "No, stop it."
so funny because, you know, if they're talking about LA, Joe would spend the next 10 minutes flipping out about the politicians and all the crime and drug use they let happen. But since they're talking about Austin, then it's a different story. Like at first he kind of blames politicians a little bit, but then he's immediately like, well, you know, the homeless here, dealing with them, it's just part of the fun. It makes things interesting. And Shane's response is hilarious. You know, of course, Joe, who's worth $250 million and travels with a security team, is acting like, oh, it's not.
Because it's one of the things that Joe did to get away from California is like, there's so many homeless people out here, bro. It's freaking madness.
Not that big of a deal. You know, dealing with dangerous drug addicts is fun. So he's just coping like crazy here. And the homeless, it must be pretty bad if Shane's complaining about it, because I think he's living in New York City at the time. So he should be used to it. But when he tells Joe that he's walking around downtown, Joe's like, oh, no, you shouldn't do that.
Austin's amazing. I fucking love it here.
Austin's cool. The area around there, I don't like it.
It's a little sketchy.
A lot of homeless.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you know what? It sounds like Skid Row.
It's not well regulated.
No.
And these knuckleheads decided to defund the police, which is a super unwise move. But you know what? Relatively speaking,
in Texas, they decided to unregulate the police. What? To not fund them better? What are you talking about, Joe? Is that true?
It's exciting.
Yeah, you're excited. Yeah, you got a fucking driver and a bodyguard, dude. And you do karate. Yeah, it's fun. I'm walking around just like, dude, I'm going to get fucked
Don't
up
walk
here.
around. You're supposed to.
You got to walk around.
Get from the parking lot into the structure, and then
Yeah.
from the structure into the parking lot, and then we vacate the area. That's what you do.
That's what it,
Yeah, you secure the perimeter of the area with security.
yeah, I like
You have
doing
a lot of shows.
comedy in fucking Fallujah.
It's all that's so true because it's like Joe is like he knows how to fight. He's like surrounded by security. Dude, why do you care where you live at? It's gonna be the same thing. You're dude, you're untouchable. Why do you care that what's gonna happen to you? Nothing's gonna happen to you. You're such a badass.
It's part of the fun.
It is fun. It is fun, but
It is.
till it's not.
Until it's not. Yes.
One
But
day,
that's-
somebody's not going to have
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. But that's like part of what the fun is. Like,
True.
you cannot have light without dark. You cannot have sunshine without rain. If you have sunshine all the time, you have California and everybody's fucked up.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do.
And whenever somebody's shitting on
Oh,
Austin,
what the hell does that even mean? You're getting too much sunlight, bro. You're going crazy.
and Joe's classic move is to deflect by bringing up LA or California. He loves to do that. It's so funny. Like right when he gets done talking about how the homeless problem in Austin is just kind of fun and it makes it more exciting, he's like, man, but LA, the crime there's out of control. I have so many friends that had their houses and cars broken into. It's really bad.
You need a little sun. You need a little cold. You need a little
Yeah.
little bit of everything. You can't just only eat cake, you fuck. You can't
What?
just eat it.
Joe is like, what? California? You got the sun, you got the beaches, you got the mountains. Why? Why? Dude, you don't need all that stuff. That's why you're not cool. Bro, what the hell? What is this? What are you trying to do here? You're trying to spin it. You're trying to spin it in such a crazy way that where like California's like, hey, bro, you don't need all that paradise. It's gonna make you crazy.
Like California people are doing. They're just eating cake. You know, but even California now, they're recognizing like Los Angeles is hitting a massive crime wave. Like fucking crime is everywhere. I know so many friends who their apartments been broken into, their cars been broken into, they've been robbed. So many people are getting robbed there. It's just a totally different situation.
Do you think that's true? Do you think that's true? Everybody's getting their shit broken into. This guy, who's his friends? All these broke people that live in the hood. You know, like, dude, we know that the people that you talk to, they live in a gated community. What are you talking about? You think they live in Compton? You talking to people that live in Compton? Like maybe back then when you were maybe like teaching jujitsu or taekwondo, maybe. Well, who are your friends now, brother? What the hell are you talking about?
And another time Joe did this was during Protect Our Parks when Mark Norman and Shane started talking about how many Amber Alerts you get in Texas because Texas has the highest amount of child abduction cases per year. So Shane's like, yeah, it's really depressing waking up to that every morning. And then out of nowhere, Joe's like, yeah, but you know what I don't miss about California?
I got an Amber Alert today. Did you guys get that
Texas.
one?
Yeah,
Damn, what the hell? I didn't know about that. Texas, like, there's so many people that go there's so many kids that go missing? What? I mean, like, from time to time in here in California, we get an Amber Alert. Like, even also some old person, you know, they got lost or something. But goddamn, like, really? That's a crazy amount of people. But you know why? Because Texas is, like, super, super open range. And what is I heard about those? You ever heard about those Texas killing fields? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
It was wild with Amber Alert.
Yeah.
You know what I don't miss
It's
about
a really
California?
depressing way to start.
The
day.
forest fires.
Oh yeah,
The
sudden
fires.
It's like, yeah, the children. You know what's worse though? The forest fires, because everybody dies.
Crazy in California. You ain't
Yeah.
never seen anything like it.
They're here now.
Yeah, bullshit
You guys
fires.
took everything.
Listen, they're bad, but they're not bad like it is in LA.
Like bullshit fires, you know, like little fires. Come on, the little fires, but compared to California, like forest fires and.
It doesn't rain there.
So seeing Joe cope over people disliking Austin is hilarious, and he must hate the fact that a lot of his friends just have bad things to say about living there. But it's also just all the same shit Joe criticizes LA for. I mean, Joe tries to deflect there by bringing up the forest fires, but then Mark's like, well, Austin has fires too. And it's obviously not as bad as LA, but it ranks 5th in major cities vulnerable to wildfires.
So who ranks first? California? But you're still in the top 5.
So if you're really that concerned about fires, I don't know if Austin is the best place to move to. So it seems like with Joe, whenever he's talking about LA, it's like the end of the world. It's the worst thing ever. But then if something similar is happening in Austin, it's no big deal. You know, it's just part of the fun. Like now, part of the Joe Rogan experience is dealing with street thugs and homeless people. Like another New York comedian who got to have a lot of fun when he went down there was Joe List. He went to do Rogan's podcast, and while he was there walking around downtown, he got harassed by some street thugs and had to run away from them. So he had a good time. Like he also got to see a bunch of homeless people fighting each other too.
Joe List looks like a easy. He looks like an easy guy to just, approach. That's all I'm just gonna say.
So it's just madness down there. I mean, it sounds like the homeless there are just really aggressive. Like Shane also said that.
You know what's funny about our homeless people, or some of our people that try to get some money, because you ever see people that try to clean your windshield or whatever like that, right? But then there's what in California, Hollywood, right? We have people that juggle. We have people that do like tricks. They're like, dude, like they're crazy. But recently because of the the immigration and ICE and everything like that, like they're that's just not happening recently. So yeah, but before that, like people were like they're asking for money, but they put on a show, bro. Like dude, they're crazy good. I don't know in Texas though, I don't know you're gonna get a performance like that where you're gonna go, you stop in traffic and some guy is just juggling like hats. Like one of my friends told me that one of the that shit happened to him. It was hilarious. But recently though, oh man, I missed that, and then also because a lot of them like ICE is just getting easy targets, which is like people that work right on the street, which is like people that make tacos and stuff like that. So yeah, anyways, let's go back.
Screaming runners and homeless people wielding swords.
I saw a homeless guy with a fucking sword cane in Austin recently. That was freaking me out.
I think I've seen that guy.
Really?
Is he by the mothership?
He was close. He was by like the Black Rabbit.
Okay.
And he had I was just like carrying a box of stuff and heard a lady like, don't poke anyone with that. And I was like, I looked over and this guy had dude, the blade was like that long. Jesus freaking Christ.
Damn, it's a cool homeless.
I'm still waiting for the day. Like, 4 of them test me, and they're like, every time I pass them, I'm like, today could be the day.
They're gonna test you.
I'm gonna test my survival skills.
Yeah.
Look, I guess Texas is a strange place. Like, I think with California, I think we just have maybe a minor gang issue. But even gangs don't really mess with you like that, unless you're another rival gang. I just go into I'll probably get my shit stolen, but. You don't gotta go into those neighborhoods and stuff like that. Like in Austin, I think the assumption is that you're gonna be good everywhere, but I guess just like everywhere else, in this world, there's some places that are just dangerous, to be around, to be in, and never go that way.
In San Francisco, there's these guys, and they just walk around. It's crazy.
Oh,
it's a new guy.
Stuck walking.
Yeah, stuck walkers, dude. They're just like this. They're like this, and they just kind of scramble around. I've never seen those guys.
It is nice. It is nice that it's like a zombie video game. Final stop is fucking L.A., San Diego with the screaming runners.
Yes.
Austin's got the screaming runners, dude. Screaming runners is terrifying.
We drove down the street, and the guy was kind of saying, they've taken over. It's crazy. It's scary. Be careful. Whatever.
The Lyft driver said.
Yeah. I asked the lady. I was like, "Is it safe walking around here now? It feels like it's a bit." She was like, "Just avoid 6th Street." And I was like, "All right, got it." But so I was
man, Joe, damn, what happened, bro? You don't carry nothing to protect yourself?
Street, and I'm like, "All right, so far so good." And then I started to get closer, and I saw these two guys walking towards me, and they seemed like, ne'er-do-wells. And then there was a guy on a bicycle, like a BMX-style bike, who kind of was with them and then rode ahead and kind of did like a loop behind me. So then I was like, all right, this feels unsafe. So I kind of just moved to the street off the sidewalk.
He felt the vibe, bro. He was like, oh shit. There's a guy on a bike. I wonder how they look like. That's the thing. Did he say though?
Right next to the sidewalk. And then the two guys, as they passed, were like, look at this motherfucker, this racist ass motherfucker moving into the street, this white guy, this. We passed each other, and I could still hear him kind of like mumbling. They seemed like they were fucked up. And then I came to the intersection, which is where I guess that homeless shelter is, and there was like 40 homeless people, not like sleeping in tents or on the sidewalk, but like fighting, yelling, bottles smashing. And I was just like, I don't feel like walking through that. That doesn't seem great. And then
what the heck? That's crazy. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, around where I live at, yeah, there's probably some homeless people, but for the most part, I think one of them is crazy. There's another one that's like mentally ill, but for the most part here, and they like if they were to attack you, like some of these guys were to attack you, they would probably go to jail for a while, or they're probably gonna get hospitalized, or they get taken care of. But usually, like, that's a freaking that's a hazard, dude. Like, just having some crazy ass dude, like, Texas doesn't, like, you didn't call that in, like, you didn't call the police and saying like, hey, there's a person that's crazy and he can hurt other people, like, what did he do after that? Or did he just run and then he ran to Joe's office?
Walking back that way, they were a little ways ahead of me, and for whatever reason, they decided to cross back across the street, and so we just met right there. And then the guy's like, you wouldn't be following us, would you? And I was like, no, I'm just lost. And I kind of did like I don't want anything to do with you.
I have my hands are, they don't have anything on, I don't have anything. He's being defensive.
And then the guy got like right up into my face and was like, you better be fucking lost. You want you get lost, and like whatever else. I was in like panic mode, so I couldn't. Oof. And then there was one of those like scooters, those rental scooters that are everywhere. Yeah. And he just gave that like a hard kick and did like this thing, and we were kind of like, and I went, no, I'm getting out of here. And I just kind of walked around and then swallowed all pride and just went full run.
But you know what? Relatively speaking,
what the fuck was that? He was like, he had a one of them lime scooters, and like did like a karate move or something. What? That's crazy.
Kind of. And as I was walking back, I was tense on the sidewalk. Shelter is, and there was like 40 homeless people, not like sleeping in tents or on the sidewalk, but like fighting, yelling, bottles smashing. And I was just like, I don't feel like walking through that. That doesn't seem great. And then as I was walking back that way, they were a little ways ahead of me, and for whatever reason, they decided to cross back across the street. And so we just met right there. And then the guy's like, you wouldn't be following us, would you? And I was like, no, I'm just lost. And I kind of did like I don't want anything to do with you guys. And then the guy got like right up into my face and was like, you better be fucking lost. You want you get lost, and like whatever else.
Why'd you get lost, kid? Get lost before you get lost.
I was in like panic mode, so I couldn't. Oof. And then there was one of those like scooters, those rental scooters that are everywhere. Yeah. And he just gave that like a hard kick and did like this thing, and we were kind of like.
You give him like in skate in the in the game. You ever played that game in PS3 or PS4? You do the Christ with the skateboard. He did that, but with the lime scooter. I don't know. You guys visualize that.
And I went, no, I'm getting out of here. And I just kind of walked around and then swallowed all pride and just went full run.
But you know what? Relatively speaking, it's exciting.
And that part at the end there is obviously edited. But another thing Shane and Matt complained about is the heat and the bugs. Like Shane, he said.
Oh, so you didn't say that. So that's edited, guys. Just when he said like Larry's relatively speaking, that was exciting. It's like no, that was a lie. Like okay, too lazy. At least you clarified that. That would be crazy for him to say.
There's some giant insect crawling on him in the middle of the night while he was sleeping, and he had to get up and look for it, but he couldn't find it. And then recently his power went out for 3 days, so his house was like 100 degrees, and he said a bunch of bugs got in, so it just sounded awful. And I think that's when he's finally like, all right, this sucks.
Fucking bug crawl across me. In the middle of the night. You know this is one of my deepest fears.
Yeah, what happened?
It fucking woke me up. The thing was huge.
Was it in the hotel?
No, it was in... It literally went up the side, and I was like, whoa!
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a night.
I don't think it was a night.
hallucination?
I felt it. It like woke me up. I could feel it on.
Hey, who hasn't? Huh?
What kind of creepy crawler?
I
are you
didn't
talking?
get to see the crawler, which was made for a worse evening because then I was
it's that large.
flashlight out, looking under the blankets. So what are you doing? I was like, I didn't want to tell her. I couldn't be like a giant spiders in our bed
No way.
because there has been a giant spider in the pool.
In Texas though, right?
I didn't pack. There was a storm in Texas, and I have no power.
Okay.
And I have to be gone. I've
Yeah,
been
that
on the
happens.
road
They
for like a
got-
week,
they're
and I
on
was
their own
going
power grid like fucking idiots. Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And I was gonna do laundry before I left for this trip.
Right.
But everything, I have no power for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Texas fucking blows.
I didn't know that.
Hot as fuck. So, dude, the second we
Come on.
the second we ran out of power, the house was 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
just bugs.
And it's June. That will go out in August.
Bugs came in immediately. The house filled with bugs.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's very religious. It's a religious state, you know, like locusts.
Dark. You would have liked it. I lit some candles and read a book.
And if Shane moves, Joe will be in shambles. You know, he loves Shane, and he was so happy when he moved there. So he's got to be concerned about this. And another comedian that trashes Austin is Mark Normand. You know, he goes there for the Protect Our Parks episodes and to perform at Rogan's Comedy Club. But he's like, I can't believe people want to move there and live there. Like, he also says New York comedians all goof on the comedians who move there. Like, him and Big J were on Bert's podcast, and they basically said the comedy scene there is way overhyped, which is bold, you know, because Rogan wants to make it seem like it's the comedy capital of the world. So he can't be happy about them saying this.
Like, they don't fit the vibe of Texas. And then Joe Rogan oversold the idea. Like, it was a lie. The comedy, like the only thing that's good about Austin, Texas is probably the comedy mothership. If anything, that's probably what they're saying. But everything else about Texas, like from what they make it sound like, everything else sucks. Like these guys go to California, they're like, yeah, it's great. You know, I don't hear any freaking complaints about California. Like, sure, we have our problems with, like, you know, homeless people, but our homeless people are not that, like, crazy. Where they start, like, they start they start hitting you with a crazy ass pose, you know.
First, Mark seems nervous to even admit that he doesn't like Austin that much. Bert asked him about it. He's like, yeah, it's cool. I like it there. And Bert's like, well, you kind of have to say that. So you know it's bad when even Bert is like, dude, you don't need to lie to us. We know Austin isn't that great.
They went to Austin, and gotta tell you that Austin. I don't know how these people, these Gillises or these Tyler Fish or these Seguras, who must be Greek.
Seguras.
How do they live there? I mean, it's that's
air conditioned
boiling pot of evil.
Like, air conditioned, guys. Air conditioning there. The place is hot. You know, from what I heard of, I've never been there. I've been to Palm Springs. That shit's hot. That shit's a desert out there, bro.
Ooh, just circling a dish.
What do you mean? The heat? The homeless?
The heat, the homeless, the drugs, the whores, the cigarettes, the shows, the fucking pork taco, the tequila. I mean, it's just...
What's New York's take on Austin?
Oh, it's a punchline, for sure.
Really?
I like Austin. I like the mothership's great. And
you have to say that.
Yeah, really. I know. Shane's down there. It's I like Brian Simpson. I like I like all the guys, but
the extreme ridiculous.
I would never move there.
I think the move out there.
I would never move there. I would never move there. Like, come on. Like, yeah, dude. Like Texas. It's like, that's why paying taxes there is cheap, because it sucks ass. I'm sorry, Texas. I'm sorry.
People moving there to try to get one of 8 spots available at Mothership.
And they keep saying, "Hey, it's a boom, a comedy boom," but it's one club.
One club. And the creek in
Aren't
the
there's
one club. One club. Wait, one club, right? It's what is it? Comedy Mothership. That's the only club. That's the only club that there is, bro, right now.
The bar.
Yeah.
And of course, Rogan pays a lot of attention to what comedians have to say about Austin and what they have to say about other comedians moving there. Like Bobby Lee kept making fun of everybody for following Rogan, and he said they would all regret it. And Rogan heard this and confronted him about it on his podcast. And he tries to convince Bobby to move there. And Bobby, he hates confrontation, so he's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll think about it. But the way he's talking about Austin, it didn't sound like he's interested at all. So Joe keeps trying to sell him on it, and eventually he just starts having a meltdown over California. It's hilarious. And once he starts talking about politics, you could hear Bobby do this giant sigh. You know, he's like, oh man, here we go. And
it's like he's trying to force himself to believe, you know, at the time that the pandemic was happening, like it was not benefiting him, right? And now he's just trying to sort of cope, you know, like thinking that Texas is a nice place to live in, but he knows that it sucks to live there. He knows that it sucks, but the only benefit he has is the money right now. I feel like, yeah, you know, he's also probably, you know, taking care of his family too.
Thinking, all right, dude, I'll move to Texas. Let's take it easy here. Because Rogan starts freaking out. His eyes are like popping out of his head. It's crazy.
It's a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we're leaving in about a month.
You know, in fact, I want to say this, right?
Yeah.
I want to say that I think you're following, you know, a cult.
What?
Yeah. Okay. I think it's a cult.
Okay.
And then I think it's a cult of personality. I think that you're, you know, you see, you know what I mean, our leader going out there and establishing his presence out there. And you think, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go to Waco or whatever they did.
Waco.
Those fucking idiots that moved to Texas, those fucking morons. Some of them are coming back. Tim Dillon, I saw him the other night. He's like, I'm moving back October 1st. It's like, no shit.
Yeah, I saw that on the Joey Diaz podcast.
Yeah. They're going to come back.
But yeah, there's nothing out there. I mean, it's going to be fun for 3 years.
there's nothing out there. There's like a little tumbleweed, like. He's
the best.
You should come. I know you were talking shit about moving to Austin, but listen.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I watched the video.
No.
You did. You did.
What
like,
I
I'm
said?
not fucking moving to Austin. I don't leave my neighborhood. I don't go to Compton. I stay right here.
You guys took half.
I don't go to Compton. Compton's not that bad, dude. It's all right, dude.
Of the talent out.
Yeah.
So I was just butthurt.
We brought another bunch in too. Like Shane Gillis lives here.
I know he does.
We're doing
now.
great.
I know you guys are killing it.
We're having.
I went to the
so
club
much
last
fun.
night.
Come move here.
I know, but
you're more than Paulie's thinking about it. Paulie's here a lot.
I know. And
Paulie
then
was just here the
Theo's
other day.
thinking
He's
about
killing
it.
Theo's thinking about
Right.
it. Yeah. They're all just worried that like people go, oh, you moved there to suck on Rogan's nuts.
Never suck your nuts. I don't ask. Well, maybe.
This dude, oh my god, it's so crazy. Bro, this was trying to sell fucking the Texas dream. Like, look, man, invest in. You should know how good Austin, Texas is to live. It's like, bro, Bobby's like, nah.
Talk about it, though.
Listen, man, it's a great place to live. It's a great place tax-wise. It's a great place traffic-wise. It's a great place. The most important thing is people-wise. The people here are so friendly. Austin people are great people. They're really nice. They're nice. They're not shitheads. They're not Hollywood people. They're not...
That's crazy. He's like, they're not Hollywood people. Dude, what are you are them. You're all that. What? Joe's like, he's not like you and me. We're just, you know, we're honest folk. We live a great simple life, you know, modest.
Austin, this fake world of leftist ideology that everybody's trapped in. They're just people. They're just regular people, man. And those people exist outside of these blue bubbles where everyone's gone insane. Way more.
I'm gonna go into a red one now, a red bubble.
Than I am right. But California went nuts, man. It's gone like full communist. It's out of its fucking mind. And their approach to law enforcement is so insane. It's so insane. The no cash bail, the letting people out for committing violent crimes. Where's the left? Where are you guys? You guys are so far away. I can't even see you.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind.
You guys are so far away. Dude, every state has that sort of threshold, and some states are even more crazier than in California on the limit that they, or on the threshold, right? Like that they take compared to California. I think like Florida is like 13K that you can steal.
You're fucking chopping dicks off. You won't even talk about the health risks.
Yeah.
You use things like gender affirming care. What are you saying?
Yeah.
What are you saying when you're talking about children? So everybody goes, you're on the right team. That's what it is. It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to kids? It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to San Francisco? It's not like, oh my God, why are we letting these violent criminals out of jail? It's like, oh my God, why are we defunding the fucking police?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You can't say any of those things. If you say any of those things,
But you
you're
just
a
said
Nazi.
it.
Yeah,
You get nervous?
No.
Okay.
And that's pretty much JRE in a nutshell now. You know, him talking about how amazing Austin is, and then flipping out about California over the same problems Austin has, and then listing all this stuff that he claims.
He's a hater, bro. He's just trying to cope because he left California, and he's just like, man, fuck, I miss California, so...
Can't talk about, well, he's talking about it on the biggest platform in the world. And I feel like if Rogan was really happy in Austin, he wouldn't get so worked up about these issues in LA. I mean, why is he having a meltdown over this? You know, he could just chill out. I mean, he's not there anymore. He hasn't lived there in 5 years. But for some reason, he cares more about fixing the problems in LA than in Austin, where he lives, which is kind of weird, you know, because they have similar problems, but he only ever talks about the ones in LA.
And their approach to law enforcement is so insane. It's so insane. It's like, oh my God, why are we defunding the fucking police?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And these knuckleheads decided to defund the police. But you know what?
Yeah, in California, we don't have any more cops. There's no cops. There's no cops around, dude. Like, no, like I don't know what defunding the police means, but that shit that never happened here. Like, they have freaking, you know, they have like trucks and vans, and like they're like pretty well off. All these police officers, they make a whole lot of money here, you know.
Relatively speaking, it's exciting. That's like part of what the fun is. Like,
true.
You cannot have light without dark. If you have sunshine all the time, you have California, and everybody's fucked up.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do.
Yeah, so I think Austin just completely broke this man's brain. I mean, these are the ramblings of a madman. And, you know, if he enjoys Austin and is happy with his move, I don't know why he obsesses over LA this much. I mean, the way he talks about California, it's like he's constantly trying to reassure himself that he made the right choice. You know, like this interaction with Bobby here, the way Joe's acting, you think Bobby's the one trying to convince Joe to move. Like,
yeah, like the way he's reacting, it's just like he has to. He's like sort of forcibly trying to get himself mad. Like, dude, worry about your state that you're living in now. Why do you care? Like, do you think I care about what happens in Texas? You know? Like, I know that's just red. There's a red state, so, like, something's gonna be happening that's sort of like that, and that goes that way, right? Wouldn't be surprised.
Trying to sell Bobby on Austin, but it just results in Joe talking about how much he hates California for a lot of the same reasons people hate Austin. And most of the comments are just shitting on Austin and being like, it's not how Rogan describes here. Make sure you do your own research. And they're comparing it to California, and they say Austin is a trash blue bubble, and they don't consider it part of Texas. So it honestly sounds like Austin is just a shittier version of LA. I mean, that's kind of what Tim Dillon makes it seem like, at least. He moved there soon after Rogan did. Rogan convinced him, and he's like, just give it a year, try it out for a year, see how it goes. And he lasted less than 5 months. And Tim complains about LA too, but he ended up running right back. Or I think he goes back and forth between LA and New York. But he really hates Austin. He said he doesn't mind Texas that much, but Austin, he said, is just terrible. And he said moving there was one of the worst decisions he's made. And he said it might be the worst city in America. And it sounds like he just hated everything about it. And on his podcast, he's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like, he just couldn't hide his disdain for it, which I'm sure he wanted to because he knew Rogan wouldn't be happy about it. But the guy couldn't even last 6 months. You know, he just couldn't help himself, and he had to admit he just can't take it there anymore.
Austin has many of the problems of Los Angeles. A lot of the homeless.
Yeah, it's just cope. I think it's just cope. That's what it is. He has to... He gives, like, because the way he talks about, like, yeah, the weather is making people crazy, and all these other options that they have, like, they can go, like, to the mountains, and they could go snowboarding, or, you know, they could go to the beach, and blah blah. You know, it's like, dude, like, just come back. All right, like just come back. It's okay. Nobody's a. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure people are gonna be like talking a lot of shit about it, but yeah.
People. There was a mass shooting last night, and the cops didn't even find the guy. He's running around here
on the loose. Yeah,
he's on the loose. I've been downtown 4 or 5 times.
Dude, that's crazy. He's on the loose. A freaking guy mass blasting. So, anyways, I just started blasting.
That's enough.
That's enough.
The first time I went down there, homeless people were throwing bottles at us as we walked out of the creek in the cave.
That's crazy. People are more crazy there. And the cops don't do shit here, there in Texas? Bro, that's crazy. In Taco, Texas?
At night, the homeless are just going up and murdering comedians. And I don't even know, am I against that? I'm put in this weird position of having to care about a city that I've never cared about. And I can in good conscience do that. I only want to be funny. The stench.
Dude, I mean, yeah, that's the like Tim. One thing about Tim is that he's honest, and for sure, dude got pissed off that Joe Rogan sold them on Texas, and he's just like, bro, this city stinks. It's worse than LA.
Of human failure in this city is so that you cannot breathe. You cannot inhale oxygen because the stench of human failure infects all of the air. It is a grotesquerie here. They do not know how to run a city. The food is shit. It's drunk pig women and men that have an itchy trigger finger.
It's like Tim Dillon with the Meghan McCain outfit. Yeah, that's what comes to mind.
Trying to shoot people, dancing around 6th Street drunk. These people are out of their fucking minds. It's a fucking rodeo of fat bitches and school shooters. Everybody eating at the trough. It has nothing to...
It's crazy too, because like there's a freaking serial killer right now, like, or there's, I don't know, like maybe, but because they're finding all these bodies in this one river, and it's a lot of guys. I think it's a lot of gay guys or something like that. Probably like edit that in maybe.
With music. There are heroin addicts that occasionally do melodious things on the street. After they take a shit in the street, they play You Are My Sunshine. What does she want to do? Go downtown and get a bottle thrown at her head? Is that what she wants to do?
I mean, that's crazy, man. Like, for the most part, yeah, I've had my running with crazy people, but for the most part, yeah, I never had to really duck and defend my life, you know?
Does she want to go play the accordion downtown and get raped with a glass bottle to her neck? It's chaos down there. It's utter hell and chaos.
Really bad.
It's chaos down there. Okay? It's a horror.
Yeah.
LA's big enough. Austin's not that big. Austin's like 7 square blocks, and 2 of them are hell.
I think it's like what is it? Like I think it could be spaced out. Like in LA, it's like a lot of the communities are very tight and yeah, there are like, yeah, of course you're gonna get robbed sometimes. Yeah, like that shit happens everywhere, but less likely. You know, if you're careful enough, like if you're obviously like going to a place that is like dangerous, then yeah, that's probably gonna happen. I'm not gonna say otherwise. You gotta know where you're walking into. You know, you can't go into this dark alley. Like, of course, you gotta know the precautions.
with them a Fallujah. It's crazy. So what? So to do what? So you can eat it. Fucking, Miss Vicky's brisket house. Who gives a fuck? Can we get the fuck out of here, please? Can we get the fuck? What the fuck were we thinking? Can we get the fuck out of here, please? Do I want pickles and onions with it? No. Give me a ticket. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Yeah, so Rogan managed to get a lot of his big comedian friends to move there, but it sounds like keeping them there is the hard part. And if Shane moves, that's going to be rough for Joe. He'll be coping over that for years. But at least now he has Shab, Callan, and Joey Diaz. They're all moving there. That'll make up for it. No, I'm kidding. But if you want to hear about Shab's disastrous move that he's already regretting, make sure you check out my Patreon. I've been covering it over there. I also recently made a big video about Tim Dillon. He exposed Joe Rogan's handler.
Well, look, wow, that's yeah. Joe lied. Joe lied to you guys. He tried to sell you a timeshare in Texas, and Tim, I think you know what, this is my conclusion to what Joe did right here, is because Joe, he's a crazy dude, right? I'm pretty sure he doesn't mind the weather, the heat, but all these other guys, look at him. Look at Tim Dillon. You think Tim Dillon is gonna be good walking around Texas the way he looks? Or Mark Normand, or like these guys, they want to live a comfortable life. Come on, Joe. And he's trying to sell these guys a dream that was obviously just a lie. Like all these people, like the place where you really want to go is LA. That's where the cool people are at. And Joe sold you on you thinking that the cool people are in Austin, Texas. And look, I know one thing is that King of the Hill taught me that Austin, Texas is not really Texas. All right, I'm gonna leave you with that. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. Let me know what you guys think about this video. See you guys for another one. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you guys for another one. Bye bye.